welcome to our Village podcast. This podcast is dedicated to preserving stories and sharing stories about the Black and Irish community. I'm going to be your host, Toby Bello, for this season 1 release of the podcast. Hopefully, there's going to be season 2 and 3. But this podcast is commissioned by Project Art Center, so season 1. Really, really excited to have these two guests on. So we have Kaylin and Silent G, who are like amazing in the industry. Silent G is just, in terms of like as a DJ, a fashion designer, just someone who also responds to the community, similar to Kaylin as well, who's a curator and a community organizer. They're about to drop some amazing gems, so I hope you watch it to the very end. Thank you so much. Take care. But yeah, we'll jump right back in. So yeah, I was asking you, like, even though I've known you for like so many years, I do not know where you're from. And then, you know, the way everybody just assumes that everybody's Yoruba because, or Nigerian because, like, Ireland is, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I just want to hear a bit more about, like, you.
Me in general?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Nigerian.
Yeah.
Half Nigerian, half Surinamese, and I am Igbo.
Igbo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Igbo.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I'm more kind of not necessarily comfortable. Comfortable isn't the word.
Yeah.
It's basically my mom, like she's Igbo, but she was born. Her family was born and raised in Yoruba land.
Okay.
So I'm like around way more and used to way more Yoruba people
Yoruba,
than
yeah.
Igbo people.
Yeah.
Now I don't speak Yoruba or
Yeah.
Igbo.
Do you understand any of
I
them?
understand Igbo and I kind of get
Yoruba.
I kind of get what's
I
happening in
think
Yoruba.
it's maybe the gesture because you know that it's very
Yeah.
expressive. So yeah.
Yeah, like my mom, anytime she wanted to talk to her sisters and brothers, and she didn't want me and my sister to know, she just speak in Yoruba. Yeah. But yeah, I was born in Niger.
Yeah.
Then we moved over to London, and then I came here, like literally within that space of time. I came here when I was like 1.
Oh.
So yeah, I've been here
So like
for.
when you were in London, it was very short
It was
time.
very short. Went to London, came back, and then kind of in between London and Dublin because of my dad.
So you don't remember? Do you like?
So like London for me. So I with London because of my dad, we would always have to go back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
So kind of getting to grips with that, and then yeah,
But
raised
you've been
here.
in Ireland since 1.
Yeah, since 1.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Oh, you home, baby?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. That's why. I mean, that's why I'm very passionate about being from Dublin.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to be able to experience all different facets of Dublin.
Yeah.
All different, like, I guess, like when you're an immigrant in the country, you have to be around certain classes. And then I've been fortunate enough that like my mom did a lot to put me in certain areas where I saw other classes.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, my upbringing was pretty nice. I grew up in Rush.
Okay.
It's like a seaside kind of town.
Yeah, I was like by the water.
Yeah. So did that. And then I was a massive football head. Yeah,
Really?
I was. Yeah. Honestly, ask about me.
Did you support Arsenal as they
No,
would
no,
call
no,
it?
no, no. No, that's
Are you a football fan?
I am.
Oh, okay. Yo, I'm learning. Yeah.
That's another story in itself. But
Yeah.
I was massive into football. I was decent.
Oh no, please don't tell me it was your knees.
No.
Every single story, it's like I could have been, but then my knees.
Everyone always says that. But for me, it was more so a case of I come from a family that like other like I guess African countries.
Yeah.
Like it's very like engineer, doctor,
Lawyer,
blah
doctor,
blah.
failure.
And yeah. And I come from a family where that's like very. It's like
Education.
Yeah.
Education is important.
like my uncles and aunties and my mom. It's as if they're in competition with each other.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, I'm
where
gonna circle that because I think that's such a Nigerian
yeah,
slash African
yeah,
thing. Like it doesn't. We had
yeah,
this conversation like with one of the guys as well, and he was saying that regardless of what it is, it's not even a thing of like spite, but it's
yeah.
just like I cannot be like it's like I can't be the tail of
Yeah,
anything. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
literally,
Like you
literally,
can't be the
For
literally,
tail.
sure.
literally. Even they'll give you stories about how, I guess, they were in school and they were
Oh,
always the
they were
best.
all
They're
everybody
always
was the
number
first,
one.
by the way. Who was the last? Who was the last? Everybody was the first.
Oh
I'm like,
You
man.
okay.
won't catch me slipping.
But yeah. But yeah, played football at a pretty high level. But I guess once it came to my like I was on trials and everything. I
Yeah.
like played for Ireland. But once it came to my leaving cert, my mom was like,
Yeah.
stop,
That
don't.
was
You
it.
need to be
Yeah.
focused.
That was it. And
And
then
it's
I
so funny because I don't think that we can balance both sometimes. But
yeah,
I get it, but at the same time,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very sad time because of the way everything was going. Like when you're kind of, I guess, good at something, right? You
Yeah.
don't there was for me when I was growing up, there was never an intent of becoming a footballer.
Yeah.
I was just,
Good at it.
I guess, good. Like
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh yeah, and you're
I'm
playing for
definitely
these
going to circle
teams."
back to that point for
Yeah,
sure.
you're
Yeah.
playing for these teams, and then once I got into like fifth year, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna focus on this."
Mm,
And then once I got to sixth year, it was like, "No, you can't do that anymore."
yeah.
So I didn't like pay attention in school at all.
Oh, yeah.
So then sixth year came, and then I had to like really focus. Um, then
And this
I
is still in Rush. Like, you live in Rush. Yeah.
this is still in Rush. I went to school in town though,
Mm,
secondary school, but did that, and then I went into university in Galway.
yeah.
So I did civil engineering.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the worst time of my life. And that's the thing, like where the design kind of aspect comes in is because like I wanted to do architecture. So
Yeah.
I always knew that I wanted to like do some form of design.
Yeah.
But like I guess because I was never really focused,
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had to submit a portfolio.
And all of this. Yeah.
So then I thought to myself, oh, I want to design buildings.
Yeah.
What's the next thing I could do? Civil engineering. Completely wasn't that.
Yeah.
We're like the arch nemesis of like architects. So if an
Yeah.
architect says they want to make a building like this, we have to like
Do the calculation.
tell them why they can't do that.
Yeah.
So I did the civil engineering, and while I was doing that, while I was playing football, actually, because I was going in between the UK and Ireland, I would like be hanging around with other, like, I guess when you're young and you're doing these things and excelling at certain things, you start to be around like creatives or
Yeah.
I guess people,
Like-minded
yeah,
people. Yeah.
disruptors, people that are doing things. So when I was doing that, I like became friends with a lot of people over in London. So already I was like kind of like doing small things like in terms of like graphic design. That's where it came in. And then when I was in uni, I started to do a lot of work for a lot of people, graphic design wise. And design, and then I kind of got into fashion there, and I did some work for a few fashion brands in terms of graphics. And then yeah, once I finished from Galway, I was supposed to go to London, but I wasn't going to tell my mum.
Oh, not you. Not a runaway
Yeah,
child.
no, I was supposed to move to London. I still don't really like London, but I was supposed to move to London. And this is the only reason why I'm in Dublin, actually.
Okay.
Since that day.
Yeah.
I was supposed to move to London, and then the night before, it was a Halloween night, and I was like buzzing. It's my last night in Galway. I loved Galway as well. And I fell sick. I like literally was on my bed and I couldn't move.
Oh.
So the girl I was dating at the time and my sister, like they hadn't heard from me for like the whole day. So they just like randomly like came to my crib and just saw me like in my bed just sweating.
Yeah.
You know, so and then from there my sister was like, she was like, yo, he was trying to like leave to go to London, so she ratted me out.
Yeah. Good.
And then yeah, from there I just stayed in Dublin, and it's been kind of like one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. From there I saw that there was like spaces that what I basically did was like create spaces that I saw from the outside that I
Yeah.
couldn't find here.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, there's so
You
many
know.
points that you've made that I'm like, I need to circle back. Like, there's so many of the points, because even like your relationship with your mom and
Yeah.
like the college thing, like that's so important.
Yeah.
And also like nurturing what you think that you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kaylin, with yourself as well, like, again, I literally, I don't know, you know, how, like, where are you from? Like, yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my journey has not been as long. I would say like I'm one of the like, a first gen immigrant in the sense that I kind of came about 7 years ago to
Yeah.
Ireland to study.
Yeah.
So it was just like, you know, I was done with school.
Yeah.
I did undergrad in, so by the way, I'm from South Africa.
Yeah. If you can't hear that beautiful accent, I don't know.
Cape Town, and even in South Africa, the different nuances in terms of like race obviously been a big thing because of our history.
Yeah.
So I'm colored.
Yeah.
Just by the way, it's like it's a whole category of its own.
Yeah.
Whole conversation.
Yeah, literally.
Which we won't dive into right now. But just for context, you know, because I will highlight.
Read about it.
Read
though.
about it. Oh god.
I will highlight. I am big on context. Like
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, no,
So
for sure.
yeah, I'm colored from Cape Town in South Africa. Came here about 7 years ago to do my master's.
Oh,
right?
nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I think even just like tying into like your evolution from like soccer to like, you know, deciding where you want to go. Like me going into university back in South Africa, I went to UCT, and it's also one of those things where your parents are like, oh yeah, but like the only thing you can do that's going to bring money to this family
Yeah.
is doctor, lawyer, chartered accountant,
Or failure.
and exactly,
Like,
exactly.
if it isn't big rocks, you're a failure. I'm sorry. Like,
And like even my upbringing, like I did, like because of the history of our country, you know, people that are black and brown are predominantly like, you know, obviously had a disadvantaged start
Yeah,
to
of
this
course,
world,
yeah.
and like I am one of the first in my family, or the few in my family that like decided, okay, we're gonna do tertiary education, and one of the things, okay, do this job, do this, and that's so that, you know, you can start bringing money in,
yeah.
right? And then I
You're
get to uni.
like, think about, you're my retirement plan. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't
by
want
the
it to be good.
A big part of I personally define like I'm a firstborn.
Yeah.
I think that's a big.
I'm a
I
firstborn
see
too.
that. Listen. I'm telling you,
Y'all
that-
gotta make money.
that's a big part of my personality.
Yeah,
A big part of my
yeah.
personality is the fact that I'm a firstborn.
Yeah, big
So
responsibilities.
that hustle, that like, you know,
Yeah.
see for the future, planning
I'm
for
the
the future.
example. Like,
Yeah, it's there. So when I got to uni, like I did a triple major as my undergrad in international relations, sociology, and organizational psychology.
Okay.
Right.
Ooh.
And the thing with like sociology and organizational psychology is, or industrial soc, like I specialized in my final year on industrial sociology. And org psych, so the sociology is like the study of society and humans, and like, you know, how we come together, how we do this. And obviously a lot on sociology and psychology is a lot about research, right?
Yeah.
And understanding the different nuances with society and like how people operate, how people think. So sociology is the bottom up perspective, you know, from what's happening on the ground, what's happening amongst the people and stuff, to organizational psychology, which is very much top-down perspective, right? We this big organization,
Yeah,
how
the
do we
corporate,
get people to do X, Y, Z, you know,
Yeah.
move in these ways to kind of, you know, conform to
Yeah.
what we need, right? And so I think in my experience in uni, that too, also, by the way, I did like minors in economics and like, you know,
Yeah, they made you
just,
work.
just to satisfy the parents,
they-
just to
they
satisfy
made
the
you
parents. It's
work.
like, okay, I know a bit of math, I know about like.
Yeah.
Anyway, but for me, the biggest part of my big perspective shifting moment, right, was in university and the coming together of those different facets. So even with international relations, we look at like foreign policy, how global systems work, how society works, and like, you know, even the different like capitalism and all
this
the
and all the
isms,
isms, all the
systems.
isms, yeah.
Isms, systems. You get a big and broad overview of all of that, right?
Yeah.
And then you kind of like, and a big thing with all of these different majors that I did was like, research was a big thing. And the big thing about research is just, it's not just like, okay, I'm doing this topic, whatever. It's how you go about the research. So the method behind it, the nuances amongst like
And also
literally
the ethics behind it
the
as well.
ethics, man. And
Like,
ethics is big in South Africa. Like when I did my master's year,
Yeah.
my research project, the ethics was not as strict. I mean, but it's because of the, you know, how research back in the day was obviously used to advance, you know, certain ideologies.
Yeah.
And so ethics was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, the ethics, the method, but also the person conducting the research,
Yeah.
right? Like the storytelling
Yeah.
and like knowing that like I shouldn't always be speaking on behalf of other minority communities, you know,
Yeah.
like they should have their own voice.
Even
they should
if I'm
have
within that category, like everybody has an individual, like, do you know what I mean?
experience, 100%. And like I did a lot of like activism work in South Africa. I did a lot of community development work in South Africa. And that's when I was like, okay, listen, because I was gonna my specialization, so from org psych, then I was going to specialize in change management. Well, I did.
Yeah.
In my first grade year, I specialized in change management and behavioral. This corporate lingo, because you know, I'm going to go to corporate, I'm going to earn the bag, you know. And then as I was doing my activism work and my community work, I realized like, actually, you know, there's so much, like my heart and my passion for service for the community. And especially because I'm a firstborn, like also for context, I was not raised by my parents directly. Like my grandparents raised me because my mom was young when she had me. So I lived with my grandparents and, you know, old school values and principles. It's very like
heavy and also very people serving. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
People serving, like, because we operated as a community. So like, yeah, we work together. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And because my grandparents were old, but like they were big pillars in the community.
Yeah.
Like my neighbors, like mom used to pack me lunch for school. They used to drive me to like, you know, soccer practice. I was a big athletic person. I mean, I was speaking to sports back in the day.
Yeah.
So they'd take me to practice. They'd pick me up. You know, that kind of way. It was a community element.
Like
so,
raised by the village.
raised by the village.
Like you couldn't, if you misbehave outside, I'm telling your grandmother. Like she, and not only that, I will hit you. So when your grandmother goes home, she'll hit you again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I think that really defines like my view on life in the sense of like a lot of what I do is in service to others.
Yeah.
And it's all about the community.
For sure.
And you can speak to like so many of my different friends. They'll all tell you like, Kaylin,
Yeah.
listen, she has that group.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it's not just about like just molding and shifting to the different groups. It's about the curiosity that I have about different ways of life, right?
Yeah.
And how bringing people together can really enhance, but also like just like not just enhance on a material level or like a resource level, but also on a, you know, like spiritual understanding, that humanness, connecting us to that humanness element. So so when I did all that community development work, which is a big part of how I was raised, I realized, okay, like doing this, I did entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship. There we go. Right. I looked at systems and how like certain social entrepreneurs, they start something, try to feed into an NGO arm, but then it's never sustainable.
Yeah.
So the element of sustainability came in, and I was like, okay, look, what I'm going to do instead is I looked to do my master's abroad, and the big thing was like international relations or like, you know, politics or policy and stuff like that, because I was like, okay, the big way to create systems change is through policies. But then I think because I was so much hands-on and on the ground, that I got a scholarship to come to Ireland to do my master's at Trinity in business.
Oh, no.
Right? Because I was like, okay, what was missing in this whole NGO arm, right? It was the whole business element in terms of like how to kind of keep things sustainable, how to reach the right target market, your audience, because people have the heart.
Are you excited about coming to Ireland?
Okay.
Like, because like, you know what I mean? Everybody, like, yeah, were you, like, it's a hot country, like, Africa, like, all the food, the dance music, da-da-da. And obviously, did you know about Ireland prior to this?
Oh, no.
Listen, if they're going to pay for it, I'm coming.
Guys, I got in at LSE, London School of Economics. So London, because everyone in South Africa, everyone knows London. Right? London, you know, cultural hub and everything. But I think I had a lecturer that used to frequent in Ireland, and she always had great things to say about the people, the culture.
Okay, Ireland, your PR, it's good.
The PR is good.
You know what I
It
mean?
actually is. And then I think the biggest thing is because, so part of the scholarship that was on was Carter Asmal, and he was what's this? Not expat. When you think it from your country, kicked out.
Extradite?
Oh, he was.
Yeah, like basically
Excommunication?
for his
Yeah.
whole there's a word, it's not coming to me right now.
Yeah.
But because of his work during the apartheid, like fighting the apartheid, he was like kind of kicked out of the country and he came to Ireland, he married an Irish wife, and he was like Ireland like really stepped up with South Africa in terms of the
Yeah.
abolishment of apartheid and like
Yeah.
advocating and like, I mean, listen, the Irish, the heart,
Yeah.
the
love
voice,
that.
the activism
Irish people be
here,
fighting
it's
for
like
people,
they
you
be
know? They
fighting
be
for people,
fighting.
yeah.
dude from day one. And I think
Yeah.
learning about him, his journey, and then the like the heart of the Irish people, because I think that's the big thing that came across to me back then already
Yeah.
before I came here. That I was like, okay, grand. Like me doing the business thing here and like getting involved in some of like the volunteer spaces
Yeah.
would really like plug me into like what are the deep seated issues, you know,
Yeah.
societal issues in
Yeah.
Ireland. Yes, that's how I came here basically.
Yeah.
Full on scholarship, got it done. I was supposed to be just an expat in the sense I was just staying here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I was gonna bounce,
Yeah. But it's good.
but it was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The
Irish
people,
PR,
my
this is great.
experience,
Yeah.
like pre-COVID, the community. Like I'm a Christian, by the way. That's also a
Yes.
big core foundation of like who I am.
Yeah.
So I think being plugged into a church while I was doing my studies, and then
Yeah.
I did rowing also. So,
Yeah.
by the way,
What?
the rowing scene.
Yeah.
I know the rowing scene
kind
is
of
crazy
something,
here.
Yeah, this girl
yeah.
has enjoyed Ireland more than us because like she be out, like she be going
But that's,
sightseeing.
but
Like that's what, like
that's-
even that's what like we're talking about. Like we live in
Yeah.
Dublin and you walk past this building so many times, but we don't know.
But that's the problem with like I don't know what it is, but that's the problem with us coming from Dublin, because there's so many people that come over. Like I don't know, even when I see like celebrities come over and I'm watching their stories and I'm like, where is that? And you're
Like, where do you be going?
where are you going? But like,
Like-
there's so much
Oh, Ireland
to
is so beautiful.
Ireland in general. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
every time I see videos, because I'm like, I always have guys, we're island gals, like we're
Like,
island
literally.
people. Do you know what I mean?
Literally,
So it's just
literally.
every single time I see videos of like places in Ireland, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, like what part? Like I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, like because everybody also thinks like Dublin is like the hubbub, the center, the
Yeah, nah.
like Dublin, you're cool, but like not that cool.
You're not the
I'm
girl.
sorry. Like
You're
I'm
not the-
sorry. There's
sorry.
some places that have upside down waterfalls. Nah, come on. You know what I
Be
mean?
for real.
In Schleigel, like
Like-
I was like, come on, boys.
Honestly,
Like,
Cork has my heart. Where's Cork?
Oh, Cork.
Like
Cork.
I have friends that lives there. Like my first site there. I
jazz
think my first
scene
place.
in Cork
Yeah,
as well.
insane.
The
Insane.
jazz scene in Cork,
Yeah,
like
insane.
Cork
I'm
is
getting too excited.
producing some of the best musicians.
Musicians,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna
The
lie.
best
no, facts.
musicians.
I'm so
Facts.
sorry.
And
Like,
the
I-
degree of collaboration there is phenomenal.
insane. I think
Yeah.
Dublin,
Like,
we're still all like, I want to be
guys.
first. I want to make it first.
Yeah.
I da. But like,
No.
That's
Cork?
that conversation there
Yeah,
is a
that's yeah. We'll circle back.
deeper
We'll circle back to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice to get a background from. But again, we've encountered each other so many
Yeah.
times. But
Yeah.
like, this is the first time I'm actually getting to hear parts of your story. Now, obviously, you do quite a bit when it
Yeah.
comes to like music within the music scene, and then also within the creative scene in general. I think
Yeah.
one thing that I've noticed about the way you work is, again, you have this mindset of collaboration because every time you create something, it's always about let's bring these two people together and then find a way to do this, or let's get this and this together. Or even with your work, it's even when you had your brand, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Like I've always felt the Irishness and the
Yeah.
like your friends. I know who, you know what I mean. You see
Yeah.
the people in your work, so that's something that's always been super cool. So I just want to like understand that, like the element of community, the element of creating a community, like where did that like spirit come from?
I guess that kind of came from, again, like kind of going back to what you said, it kind of came from my childhood.
Yeah.
Like growing up, especially being in a place like Rush, like it was one of those it's one of those places where you can like go to your next door neighbor and ask
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
tea,
Yeah,
sugar.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like
Sugar,
it
honey.
starts
Yeah.
it starts
And were
from-
you, sorry, just to interrupt you, were you like a lot of black people around
No,
you? No. Yeah,
no.
okay.
Like, and it's interesting because my experience as a black person in Ireland is it's very interesting. I was sheltered definitely when I was younger.
Yeah.
There was only one black boy in my estate,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, like, and I never growing up, I never dealt with racism. Really,
Yeah, that's
I could,
that's
I could, I could count.
amazing.
Yeah,
People in
no,
Rush, thank
no,
you.
no.
Thank you
Like
for that. We appreciate
I
you.
could,
Yeah.
count on my fingers. There was a time I could count on my finger. Now, no.
Yeah.
But there was a
Oh,
time
you've come to
yeah,
Dublin.
yeah, there was a time I could count on my fingers the amount of, on one hand, the amount of times I've had something happen to me.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but yeah, no. So basically, yeah, started from just community with Rush, and then I guess the like the focus part of it was I just didn't see what I was getting in London, Paris,
Yeah.
Milan. I didn't see that here.
Yeah.
So I guess starting off, I started an art collective where it was like my first was it my first thing? My first thing, I did a brand. I started a brand here in Dublin
Yeah.
a long time ago. Like a proper like fashion
Fashion
brand.
brand. Yeah.
I stopped it because there's a lot of moving parts to creating
Yeah.
a fashion brand.
And infrastructure, like the
Yeah.
infrastructure needs to be there.
Yeah.
The support, like finance, like
Exactly. Yeah. So like I had to stop that, but in a sense of like community, even with that, like my first show, like my first pop up was like 2017 in Dublin.
First of all, like people didn't even know what those things were.
You know what I mean? No, like because I remember like this, like I can't even remember how old I was at that point, but like 2016, 17 in Dublin, this was like by like a black kid that was just
Yeah.
like doing his thing. This was like not happening.
Yeah,
And
like
this was like the first time that I kind of like met a lot of people in Dublin. I had like performances and just kind of like getting artists and stuff to perform. And then from there I like created a collective called 999.
yeah.
And it was literally as simple as seeing one person that could do graphics really well,
Yeah.
one person that was great at music, one person that was, I don't know, just people that were good in their different fields,
Yeah.
and coming together and just saying, yo, let's like come together and create.
And it's because I remember
Anything.
999 spread because it was just like even the
Yeah.
Bali's. I just remember like
Yeah.
it was
It was a moment.
It was a moment. Like
It was a
yeah,
moment. It
'cause
was,
Love.
It
I think
was,
for us
yeah.
growing up in again because we didn't. What I admire about your stories as well is like when you don't see an example of something but still go ahead and do it, like because it's the biggest risk that you take because it's like you don't know how this is gonna turn out, but
Yeah.
But I remember like the 999 because we hadn't seen many things like this, and like the references that we would have had back then is like Blanche Boys, Tala Boys, like we never had like actually something. No, I don't want to say something come out of them because I feel like a lot of people try to do things, but again the people's mindset wasn't in it yet. But I feel like 999 it was like a moment where I was like, oh, this is like everybody is like, oh, this is cool. Do you know what I mean? It was a moment.
I wish I was there for
that. Oh no,
Or, like,
it
I
was.
remember,
It
I think
was
there
a
was a photo
moment.
of like the I think it was like the 999. There was like the guards. It was just like I remember there was so many like images that really stuck by. I was like, damn, like
It was a moment. Unfortunately, like that kind of. I think COVID was the biggest part. And obviously, like you have like so with 999, we weren't necessarily, we were all cool with each other, but we weren't all friends.
Yeah.
And then at
Yeah,
the
that-
same,
I know what you mean.
And then at
Yeah.
the same time, we were all very young. So 2 out of 5 or 6 of us were still in secondary school.
wow.
So there was a lot of things that like we couldn't even like So like that's how young we were, and there was a lot of things that I look back and I'm like so grateful because we were like we shouldn't have been able to do
that,
what we
yeah.
did.
Because it just you didn't see it. Like you know what I mean?
No, and no, it was a great time, like hosting pop-ups and just again like bringing people together. That was always like the big focus for me.
Yeah.
And that was also the reason why I kind of didn't want to continue on. And it was also a thing that kind of, I guess, there was a bit of friction with myself in continuing on with 999, because if it wasn't about like getting everybody's
Into one
perspective
space,
on certain things, and if
Yeah.
it's not about bringing people together, then I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it's like nobody could navigate what the pandemic was going
Yeah,
to be because
yeah.
I like at this because at a certain point like we're coming out and we're not.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
we were like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just remember
yeah.
that whole phase like thinking like is this the end of everything?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I guess for me, it feels like an innate thing. I
Yeah.
can't really like describe the feeling, but the
Yeah.
feeling is always I just like the big thing in my head is always the why.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand like
Yeah.
why do we feel like this? How can
Yeah.
we make this happen?
Happen. Yeah.
So I guess from there, genuinely like making connections with people, but not even like trying to make connections, just so
Again, this
just
innate thing
this
in
innate
you.
thing where
I definitely want to ask more questions about that kind of innate nature, because I think as individuals we never come on our own, like, you know, like family,
Yeah.
everything ties into the type of people that we are. But Kaylin, with yourself, I know, like, again, Tonal, again, my first introduction to you, and the fact that you've again been here for 7 years, and you came in, you understood something was missing, and you filled it. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, where did that inspiration come from? Like, were you curating back home? Like, I just, for me, because I was like, it was this, like, because, you know, there's some of, like, there's those of people who have been living here for a very long time. And I feel like maybe nobody not had it in them, but I think because, again, if people don't see certain things, it's very hard to reproduce it. So I'm like, what, like, inspired you to be like, oh, this is something that needs to be done? And, like, you did it in such a, like, and we'll talk about Tonal more, but, like, I definitely want to get that inspiration. Like,
I
where
really
did you
want
get
to
the
hear about.
yeah,
I've never heard about
No, I'm gonna
Tonal.
tell you about Tonal. Like, Tonal
Yeah.
is like give us the inspiration, and then I'll give you my my experience to it, because it was something really magical for
Sick.
me. Yeah.
I love guys. They're flattering me.
Ah, can you see her blushing?
No, but for real, I think even just to tie back to you,
Yeah.
it's definitely about the community.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I came to study first, then I started working, and there's a lot of other South Africans here. So also, I mean, I'm an outdoor girly, so
Yeah.
I like to be in the mountains,
For real.
in the
Like, if you see her
ocean,
Instagram, I'm just like,
in
girl,
the-
where are
in
you
the-
at?
so,
I'm always thinking she's in a different country as well. And she's
yeah,
I'm like,
I like to
can't-
explore. I'm very curious by nature. I
Yeah.
can't lie. So the curiosity combined with like knowing that there's different like facets of community. So I said I studied. So I have friends that I came up through uni. I mean through being in Trinity with.
Yeah.
Then I have my church community. Then through going out and hiking, I met people that likes hiking.
Yeah.
But then I got exposed to the other like communities in Ireland. So both
Yeah.
like the working professionals.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of expats in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Because of the whole tech boom and everything
Yeah.
like that. I have a lot of friends in tech that are doctors, that are chartered accountants that came here, you know,
Yeah.
on a working visa.
And this was like before the pandemic. You don't know.
Before, yeah.
Honestly, I remember
It's
stepping
mad.
out. Like, I love Black people, I do, but like I remember stepping out, and I was like, wait. There's like, because one thing,
Yeah.
you'd go out all the time, and I used to stop going on night out sometimes, because it's like, no, I love seeing the people that I
Yeah.
do, but it's like every single night out just felt like the same,
The same
because
thing,
you see
yeah.
the same people, you
Yeah.
see the same whatever.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, I was like, I do not know 90% of the room.
Yeah.
And like, I just see someone I know, I'm like waving from miles away. I'm like, there's all of these new people. I'm like, working professional, like, got money. I'm like, hi.
And so I'd say like initially my biggest or my closest group of friends that I then, or community that I formed here
Yeah.
was a lot of the working professionals,
Yeah.
right? The people that just came here most recently, like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
You know, recent working professionals that came here like on a work visa through
Yeah.
their company, that are also Black and brown. you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
And okay, obviously initially it was just South Africans
Yeah.
because I'm South African.
Okay.
So initially it just started out as like, okay, like back home we really like fine dining, we really
Yeah.
enjoy like, you know, the thing of like you come here, you work, you don't have a community, so your life just
Yeah.
revolves around, you know, going to the work, coming back, going
Coming
to work.
back
And
home, yeah.
when you go to work, right, like there it's a different culture, even the
Yeah.
corporate culture
And it's
come back-
performative, I'm
it's
sorry.
very
Like,
performative.
that's what I'm like,
obviously.
Yeah.
your Irish accent and my African accent, they are two different people. Like, I'm two different people.
And so you
Yeah.
don't feel at home
Yeah.
in the workspace, but
Yeah.
you struggle to build that like connection, because like Irish people are like nice, like
Yeah.
kind, lovely,
Yeah.
but it takes them a while
Yeah.
to open up, you know, to
Yeah.
really
it's very
like,
there's this very surface, oh, how are you, but it's like we also say how are you but not really actually wanting an answer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
that's
grand,
true.
and it takes time, and I mean
Yeah.
I respect that, but like coming here, being completely new, not having your family here, trying to navigate like these different systems and like way of life, and it's a shock at first, obviously. But I think the biggest thing that really makes like a place, and I think my philosophy started turning around like home away from home, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you really feel settled in a new place? And you
Yeah.
feel settled through your community.
100%.
Through people that cares for you and it's like looking out for you, you know, and it takes time to build that. So I started kind of creating activities for the group to do, right? I said, okay, guys, like let's go for a hike, like let's do something
let's
different,
do this,
things that we used to do back home, right? And that scene wasn't like, you know, a group of like hiking clubs really. There wasn't you know, and so for me personally, I love jazz music. I'm a jazz girly. I grew up on instruments. Like my family are big. Like my granddad plays multiple instruments. Like even in South Africa, music is just such a pivotal part to like our liberation, our identity, even our dignity. Because you know, apartheid took away that, you know, dignity and pride of who you are as a person. So we built that through music and through sports, rugby. Also. I'll just pop that in there. But definitely music, and they are different. And a big thing as a musician is like how you play your instrument. And I think just generally any artist, right? Any art form, be it visual arts, be your fashion, be it food, be it like literally anything. There's a heart and soul that kind of goes into your artistry. You know, it's 100%. A lot about your identity.
Yeah,
your
how you play your
upbringing.
instrument is on you.
very
That's why I've
true.
seen many people on the decks, but I've seen many people on the decks.
Even the girl,
you know,
small yana.
just a little tea.
Yeah, but I struggled to find, like, there are a couple of jazz bars in and around Ireland, because I stayed in the Liberties for my longest area that I stayed in was like Dublin-based, the Liberties. Shout out.
You know.
But there's like Arthur's that's just on the corner over there that was there pre-COVID, then COVID happened, shut down, and then, you know, started up again. But like, I guess the type of jazz I grew up on and the type of jazz that's here, it's European jazz, it's European-centric jazz. Fair, you know, each to their own genre. My genre was missing, and that's a big heart and soul part of like, you know, what I want or what I miss. And so I was like, okay, my community also misses it. People miss being seen and like seeing themselves even through artwork, right? Even through visual art. And the lens in which you as an artist create from you, and I firmly believe we are all some of our own experiences.
100%.
And be that multifaceted, different layers, different upbringings, you know, having immigrant parents, growing up fully in Ireland, like, you know, does that, you know, that's part of your identity. It's part of who you are. And it's not just this thing of, stamp, passport, your borders, because, okay, so just with all of that, the jazz scene, I really couldn't find our jazz music. And I didn't see a lot of art that really resonated with me, because art in Cape Town is also really big. Jazz in Cape Town is also really big.
Like, even for me, on my TikTok audience, like, South Africans, they're feeling me. Like, if you guys want me, come and take me. You know what I mean? Because, like, they're so big into art. Like, majority of my prints that I send, I'm like, majority of it, I'm sending it to South Africa. And and it's also just like, it's just, again, like, I don't know, if you're not researching, or you're not like in these communities, you don't know like if they're gonna feel you or not. But I was so like wowed by the support that I get from South Africans on TikTok. Like there's some passionate people. Like
Let me ask you: is there is there a subsection in terms, like, is there a subgenre, not subgenre, but let's quotations, like in terms of jazz is there South African jazz?
Of course. Like the beautiful thing about jazz. I'm not gonna go into
she's gonna rap.
But the beautiful thing about jazz is the fact that the fusion element of it. Like jazz fusion is big. And for me, what I really love about it is that, like, you take so there is the element of, like, you know, music and music notes. It's rigid, it's sturdy, it's like, these are the foundational principles of music, right? And then how you take that and fuse that with heart and soul is like, there are subsets, like there's Ethiopian jazz, there's Sudanese jazz, there's South African jazz, there's like Japan, because they take their traditional sounds, because sound is universal, right? Sound, rhythm, it's universal. It really, like, it speaks to the heart. So it's like how we spoke to our ancestors, how we like groove and how we socialize. It's like through movement, through sound, you know, freedom. So this form stands for freedom of movement. But anyway, it's really how we engage and connect. And I think the basis of why this started was that connectedness, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to reconnect with
Yeah.
each other, with our humanity, so even within ourselves.
Yeah.
Because as a society, guys, we lie to ourselves far too much. Like,
Constantly.
even when you made the comment earlier on, it was like when you ended 999, you couldn't continue because you found friction within
In
yourself. I'm like,
yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, like, do
And
we
you listen
acknowledge
to that, yeah.
You listen to that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
And there's so much
Yeah.
that if you didn't listen to that friction within yourself when you
Gosh,
ended
yeah.
999,
Yeah.
you could have continued, but then your why would be distorted.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
continuing for the
100%.
bag, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
I think then the dream, anytime like you lose like focus on why you dream, it's like it's automatically you're now in the passenger seat and it drives you. So like wherever it, you know, like
Yeah.
you just start saying yes to things or saying no to things, and
Exactly.
it doesn't really,
Yeah.
Exactly.
it doesn't
Exactly.
really. But yeah, Tonal for me was like so amazing because again, growing up in Ireland, being a visual artist, being nervous about the fact that like they're not like I'm being recognized in different places but not being recognized at home, and it's like being like, are there curators? Because again, all of these white spaces, you know what I mean, they're not looking for artists like ourselves, you know what I mean, they don't feel that there's no need, it's like you need to be da 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 da. So it was really, really nice being able to create work and then being, you know, you reaching out. And the tonal experience is not just about like visual arts. Like when I mean like it's a story, like the whole experience felt like a storytelling experience. From the music, we got to experience like short movies that were being written, writers, like someone like it was just like there was just so much. I couldn't contain myself. I remember going home and just being like, what do I do with all of this? Because it was like not only have I got to experience like such good music projected from Cork.
Projective.
Oh,
You
so
know,
My
cold.
God,
Yeah.
absolute
So
magic, just
cold.
absolute magic. And it's like
So cold.
they're so good, and then we had such amazing storytellers, and then we also had like different artists, and also sharing a wall with like Black artists like myself. I was just
Yeah.
like, this is great. And you went far and beyond, like you went to go get people from everywhere, like artists that I have. And also because you know, when you feel like you're an artist, you feel like you kind of know the
Yeah.
community. I was like, I met people that I had never encountered before, and
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like, this is an experience. Because like normally when you go, you curate too much,
Yeah.
so you enter every time you go to a place, it's like you've curated
Oh, yeah.
it, you know what it's
100%.
like. But going into a place where your work is in, but also still getting to experience it not as the artist, but just
Yeah.
as someone who's just
Like a spectator. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That sounds
that was
insane.
tea.
That sounds
Like
insane.
that was tea. I feel like y'all would really collaborate really well. Like
Ah.
yeah. And like G, for you, I want to talk about you as a DJ, because I think you've made such an impact in again how I've experienced like just taking in Irish music.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's just this like everybody is, I don't know if it's nervousness or people still haven't learned. Again, you said something about jazz and the fact that like there's a tempo and there's something that moves within it, and you're able to take this and add this, and you're able to make something else. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I feel like you do when you DJ, because it's like there's music that we all love, music that we all listen to, but we're not used to hearing Irish sounds. Like, and that's a massive problem, because every time we go on a night out, we're like, oh, our songs will get played on the radios, our songs, da 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 da. But I'm like, DJs, are you mixing like Irish sounds? And like the music
Yeah.
is good now. I know before,
Yeah.
but the music is good now.
I know quite a
Like,
few. I'm like,
sorry, like the
hey.
music is good.
really
You know what I
good.
mean?
Yeah.
The likes of what like Els, Travis, like the likes of what
Yeah.
they're like making, and like the collaboration that's happening with like even Chamomile and Abby and
Yeah.
Moyo, and like there's just so like I'm only naming these people because I know, but like there's so many more people out there.
Yeah.
But the music that's coming out is so rich now, and I just love the fact that you're able to take that and put it into our everyday, like you've been playing Doja, I don't care who you could be playing,
Yeah.
but it's just like it feels like this is the way forward. Like it doesn't feel like we need to have this specific thing that we play Irish music at, and da da da. It's like, no, we make music, put it in.
Integrated.
Let's like, you know,
Yeah,
let's keep a step in.
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Like what? Because not, and I feel like many DJs should be doing that, but like they don't. But like, what is it in you that you felt the need to, like, you do it all the time?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess for me, for example, I'll start it from the beginning. In terms of like music, me and my sister always.
their duo,
Oh yeah, my sister's a DJ as well. Yeah,
magic.
like we come like me and my sister. Like I didn't necessarily want to be a singer. My sister wanted to be a singer.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I just wanted to be able to do music. So
Yeah.
I used to be in a band when I was younger.
Oh, what?
But yeah, no.
What, did
yeah.
you play
What
an
instrument?
instrument?
What
Oh,
instrument do you play?
drums.
Oh,
Drums.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
like
I was like, live
yeah.
performance.
Yeah, I was in a band. I was in the choir. Like I was in a choir,
Yeah.
not church.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like,
interesting. Yeah.
So like music was always like I guess different genres or just being curious about different
Did you grow
genres
up in a
was
music
always
household?
not necessarily.
Yeah.
I guess me and my sister like we're like best friends. So we
Yeah.
always like I guess in the house the only things that were on were like your flipping like channel AKAs free channels
Free
that
channels,
we're doing
kids
like
TV, like all
yeah.
these. Like,
And most
yeah.
of the time it would be revolved around music, and me and my
Yeah.
sister would almost do like karaoke kind of things.
Yeah.
Like growing up, it was like be like a pastime. Leading up to that, like I guess when I was as I was saying to you before we stopped.
Yeah. I had to
So
stop them talking before because they were giving all the goss. I was like, no. Like,
so basically, I guess the way that comes into play is because basically when I started off, so I've always wanted to like produce. I'm learning how to produce now, but I've always wanted to produce. But I've always wanted to like. I always had a feeling that knew what would go together.
music makes
Live,
like if yeah, it just felt like it
like
made sense. To
I
you,
always wanted live performance things to just come together, right? So then I said it to my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, I'll get you DJ decks." So for my
Shout out to
birthday,
mom.
shout
Yeah,
out to
shout out.
Mumsy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mumsy.
Hey.
So for my birthday during COVID, she got me DJ decks, like literally controllers, like cheap.
I'm so sorry. Everybody transformed in COVID because I'm like, how do you go into
Yeah.
COVID, come out one of the best DJs? Like, what's going on?
Ah.
Like what? Like,
But like for me, and as well on top of that, linking back to like when I would like travel abroad for like fashion weeks and stuff like that, I was so fascinated because all of the parties, there were people that, because I was interested in so many genres and like thinking of ways to express that live. I also noticed that abroad, all of the DJs were mixing, going in between genres, and everyone that was in the space was still enjoying it.
yeah.
And
But
I
they'll probably
felt,
still repping their own.
yeah,
Like, they could be playing one of their boys' tracks. Like, nobody might know your boy, but like, it sounds good.
yeah, and I felt like Dublin is like was a place whereby because it's very young, like if you're black, people automatically assume that you play R&B and hip hop,
Yeah, Afro beats.
Afro beats and stuff like that. So if there's like a night, it has to like I think people in their head think, oh, what kind of music is it?
Yeah.
In my head, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
It should be like okay, I'm gonna book this DJ because he's just gonna bring a vibe.
Yeah.
And it could start off with jazz,
Yeah.
but he could also blend that crazily into
Yeah,
jungle.
into other things. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So doing that. So like during COVID, my boys, shout out DJ Red. He had Red's house.
Yeah, Red's house was also a moment in Ireland.
Was
were
a
you here for
moment.
Red's house?
No, what year was
You
that?
know what?
You were
No, yeah,
you were
because it was.
definitely here.
I think Red's house. Let's be honest. Police don't come for anybody here. Like
Yeah.
FBI don't come. But like I remember during the pandemic, because
Oh, yeah, we went crazy.
Yeah, there was a couple of house parties. You know what I mean? Like
we were always,
allegedly,
yeah, allegedly,
because
yeah, like basically that's kind of if I'm not mistaken, that's where Red's house kind of like started
from. Yeah, it was
Okay.
such
just
a
like
movement.
during
Shout out to Red.
Yeah, shout out to Red. During COVID, he was just having house parties. That was it. And one of the biggest ones that he did was in a field. I'm not gonna say where.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So like, but that does like, even though we're saying allegedly, it still does tie into whatever's going on right now with Dublin and spaces. There's no spaces in Dublin for
Yeah.
So
we have to come back to that.
Yeah. We're circling back. We're circling back.
Days.
Yeah.
but so again, we are a DIY generation, X, Y, and Z.
For sure.
And that was the first time that I DJ'd. It was like, and it went off. Now, and even on that day, now I'm thinking about it, I did integrate Irish music.
Yeah.
Now, going back to it, for me, the biggest thing in everything. It's the genre bending.
Yeah.
It's the how can I intro my set to just not even like not with the process of making it like different, but like how can I give people an experience?
Yeah.
How can, like, for me, I'm like, that's why I kind of like took a step back kind of from DJing as well, because there were times where I felt like kind of not the bigger I got, but kind of the bigger I got, the more I started to please the crowd,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
didn't happen in the beginning. But essentially, like,
Staying true to yourself seems like a very important thing.
oh
Yeah.
no, for real,
Yeah.
for real, for real, for real,
Yeah.
and it, like, it has been to the detriment of a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, but as well on top of that, that's why I'm completely happy with everything that's going on now, because it's
Yeah.
like everything works out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the genre bending, so blending in between different genres, and as well on top of that, playing Irish sounds and being in tune like with
Yeah.
everything that's going on.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I don't know. I do feel like it's missing. I feel like Irish, going back to my point, Irish people kind of because they don't, it's very, I can't even describe it. Everything's so boxed in, and I guess that's why I became popular, because I was like, okay, I want to play this. You're booking me because of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to play. No offense to Doja Cat, but I'm not here to play. I'm not here to
Give you
intentionally
the
play.
mainstream.
The mainstream
Yeah.
pop.
Exactly. So it's like, it's literally just for, it's the feeling, it's on the night, it's the love of music in
Yeah.
general, you know.
And it's felt like, you don't
Oh
understand,
yeah,
it's so felt in the, like, just as someone who is just enjoying the music, I'm like, oh, this is just so
yeah,
good, like, it's, we need it, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
because it
But
also makes you
yeah,
feel part of just being in Ireland, because I'm
yeah,
like, I don't want to always hear music that's from somewhere else, like, it's
yeah,
just nice to be, like, it
100%.
feels like all your work always seems to be a response
Oh yeah,
to
100%.
whatever is happening in society, and similar to yourself, it just feels like when I think of you, I think of you as a response to something. It's just
Yeah.
like you see something, like, that's why I call you guys the output. Like, you guys see something, you see the what, and you put it out. You're like, okay,
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
and then, and
100%.
it's also like you're facilitating. Like, even when you're playing those songs, these
Yeah.
guys might not be in the room, but like you're
Oh yeah,
facilitating their sound to
100%.
grow, and like
100%.
and that's why I trust that if we're sending any DJ anywhere, we're sending him, because I know he's gonna play our songs. Do you know what I mean? We're not gonna have a
Yeah.
DJ who's gonna go there and like try and
Yeah.
always please the crowd. Like, we're gonna get our songs played
Yeah.
in wherever you go. Do you
Yeah,
know? So
100%. It's important.
It's
It's
respect,
important.
mad respect.
yeah.
It's
One
important.
question I have for you guys, right? So if you had a limited, like, guys, think about a limited amount of money in Ireland right now, and you guys could do anything.
Oh no.
Like, is this any, because there's obviously you guys being the people that you are, and the things that you've already done already. I know that if money was, guys, who has money? I've been every episode, I'm like, who has money? Like, come sponsor this, because I know that you guys are there's so much more that can be done with what you guys are already doing, and it's just, again, getting the right eyes on it, getting
Yeah.
people who see the value in the fact that, like, these are the things that are going to be like in 20 years, 30 years time, when they talk about the growth of the urban culture, when they talk about like the integration of all of these are the conversations that I hope that they look at. These are the people that I hope that they look at, because these are the people who are doing it at the moment. So, like, if you guys had limited amounts of fun, like, you guys, I don't care, you can buy Temple Bar, like that type of fun, you know what I mean? What would you do?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy my mama a
crazy-
house.
that's a
I'm gonna buy
crazy-
me a house.
That's a great, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the house thing is very, very interesting thing. I'm actually freestyling here, but I definitely buy a house,
Yeah.
turn it into some kind of, I don't know, like crazy, I don't know, we'd have like just a complete space that people could like actually do stuff in.
Yeah, we need
Like
that.
with a like, because for me, like what I was saying to you about this space, I've been a creative in this country for
Literally.
All your life.
Since
You know
all your
what I mean?
life. Yeah.
I've never been here before.
Yeah.
There is, and in terms of like help from places
Yeah.
and organizations, because like I come from more so of a like punk kind of background.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more so like, oh,
Do it yourself.
like
Like,
do it
yeah.
yourself, like,
Yeah.
you know, like DIY X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never kind of had examples of people to show me like what to do.
Yeah.
So kind of freestyling, I'd buy a house, man.
Yeah.
Turn that into like, I don't know, some crazy space that people could genuinely actually do stuff to and create
Yeah.
like a low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's the main thing for me.
And I think
you know?
that point again is really important, because again, having a focal point, having something that feels like, I feel like if you were to buy a creative house or something, it's something that would never be sold, for instance. So it's like many years down the line, we have this house now that existed in Ireland that was owned by this person and allowed this person. Do you know what I mean? These how
100%.
cool stories and all of these things are
100%,
created. So
100%.
Institutionalizing the culture.
if
Yeah,
anybody has
100%.
extra funds and wants to buy Gia house, we are taking offers. How many stories?
Well,
Easy five,
five.
6 stories, a couple of rooms. We obviously want money for furniture and the funding
Creating
of
the
it.
ambiance, you know.
Yeah, so like if you have extra money,
Design.
just let us know. We will accept it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kaylin, what about yourself?
I guess like through, and I won't lie, like even though the first Tonal was so beautiful and amazing, as
Yeah.
a firstborn, I was just like, I'm doing myself. I'm doing
Yeah.
this all myself.
Yeah.
Myself as one person.
Literally. And she pulled.
I did have my partner Ron.
Yeah. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Ron.
And he's also been a creative in Ireland for quite some
amazing.
time.
Sick.
Part of like what's this on the behind the scenes. Sorry,
Yeah,
Black and Irish and plugged into a lot of different like
Yeah.
facets and stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing, our philosophy with doing Tonal was that we wanted it to be sustainable. Like the
Yeah.
element of like archiving and having like outside of just a digital archive, but just a platform
Yeah.
for emerging artists, whether you're a musician, whether you're a
Yeah.
visual artist. And I think the big thing for us was like the takeaway of like the experience when people come there. So it's like I just want honestly, I want people to just be curious and courageous.
Yeah.
Those two things.
100%.
Just
Yeah.
as a society, as the Irish, as whatever, like a French, I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
place you come from, just be curious and
Yeah.
courageous enough and kind.
Yeah, and kind.
Because
Big on the kind.
big on the kind.
Yeah.
But courageous enough to try something different, to
Yeah.
like expose yourself, to like want to know. I do think there is a hunger, right, to know and want to experience something different to what is
100%.
already there. I think in society, this whole hyper individualism, capitalism,
Yeah.
self-care,
I can't do it on my
self-made,
own. I
like
cannot.
the way that is so hyped.
It's so
I don't believe
exhausting.
it's true to the Irish heart, like to the heart of the Irish people, that this whole
no.
like intense hyper individualism.
Yeah.
Like my neighbor, when I stayed in the Liberties, Frances, bless her heart, and Margaret, like as a 96-year-old, 74-year-old next door, like the way I could rely on them, I could go to them, could have the
Yeah.
chats, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like that's what
Yeah.
the community is about, you
Yeah.
know? So what I would do with better fans
Yeah.
is that I would build a sustainable platform. I really wanted to be sustainable and big on the space, because
Yeah.
I've tried the Dean Art Studio, like D-Links, like there's so many different like
Yeah.
spaces that facilitate it. And not the thing, because the thing is I can be a curator, right? And I can go to a museum and
Yeah.
curate in a museum.
Yeah.
But it's not true to the essence of what my messaging is about. It's not
Yeah.
true to the essence of the community that I'm trying
Elements
to build.
of it,
And
yeah.
the big element is the community. It is the bringing people together. It is
Yeah.
bringing cohesion amongst
Yeah.
different cultures and amongst different perspectives. And
Yeah.
it's like bringing people together to be like, okay, I'm curious, like, oh, so like, you know, like Afro beats, what's that about? How's that different to piano?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know more. Like,
Yeah.
I vibe with this. Or like
100%.
this jazz set of Ethiopian jazz resonates with me.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the beat. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know more. I want to
Like, so that
experience.
it sounds like a continuous experience of something.
continuous
Not just again, like, and we have that
experience.
often. This once off, like, because again, like even with Tonal, I felt like people should have picked that up. Someone should have funded that. Someone should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much are we asking for, Kaylin? Let them know. Let them know. Come on, don't be shy now. Don't be shy. Let them know. 1 million, 2, 3, 4. How much you need?
Like, you know, 5, not short of 5, no,
5.
kind
Okay,
of,
guys.
you know.
Anybody out there, 5.6 million, we'll take it. You know what I mean? We're gonna curate good things, continuous night outs, continuous experiences of new music, food, art.
Cultural cohesion.
Come on,
and
what's
bringing it all
what's
together.
5.6 million to you?
And I know, like, even that whole thing of like, you know, can you do this alone? The
Yeah.
whole thing of collaboration in the
Yeah.
scene,
Very
right?
important.
If our ethos, and I think you don't collaborate on, oh, you're a jazz artist, I'm a jazz artist, we're going to
Yeah.
collaborate. No, you collaborate also on the element of ethos. So if your ethos
Yeah.
is about building community and building social cohesion in a
Yeah.
time that is so divided,
Yeah.
geopolitics and all that jazz,
Yeah.
like there's so much room and space for people to just divide, and the
Yeah.
algorithm thrives off, some of
Yeah.
like these hateful speech and hateful
Yeah.
debates. Creating a community or a space where we can come and be human, and you can bring your visual art, you bring your DJ set,
Yeah.
I bring the jazz, like, and because live music carries energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Even
no,
with
it's
DJ
everything
sets.
is such a.
100%.
That's what like dance and music, like dance and music, the
Fashion.
work,
Yeah.
fashion. Like again, when if
Everything.
we think every time I think about a community gathering, like
Yeah.
when I think about referencing back home, I'm thinking about the person who plays music. I'm thinking about the woman who makes the clothes. So all of us are rappers, or all of our things are similar in the style. You're thinking about this person who brings the food.
Yeah.
Like every time there's a communal gathering, it isn't like all the food people showed up together. Do you know what I mean? It was like that food person, that drink person, that person that's great at that. So then everybody has this all-encompassing experience that is like, wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. I back everything that you said.
You guys need to collaborate.
Oh,
And
no,
I feel like
for
you guys,
sure.
like, again, the ethos, you guys have such
Yeah.
a way of thinking that is so
Yeah.
communal that, like, yeah, you guys should work
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
This conversation has been like super, super interesting. And I just love the fact that I actually got to actually know you guys more, because I'm just like, that's when we encounter each other so much. When I'm like, I don't actually
Yeah.
know, like, so like even one of the guys I was chatting to yesterday, I've known him for like 10, 15 years. I'm like, I don't know your story,
crazy.
because like we're always meeting up in art and in the
Yeah.
need of like doing something. And like, yeah, I love moments where we actually just get to
Yeah.
sit down and also talk about like the context of why we create. So then I feel like hopefully people can see this and also appreciate it
Yeah.
more, because I think a lot of people take the people who are doing things like what you're doing for granted as well, because it's just like he's not just like you're not just going up there to DJ. It's like it takes like before I got here I thought about you. I thought about, do you know what I mean? It's like before I did this I thought about you. So it's like now you're just seeing the result of like everything that I've had to be as a person, and then you get to then just enjoy that. Nah, you get to know who I am. You have to know who I am.
This is
Yeah.
this is a very, very key thing that you've stated. Even I guess with the DJing thing, because for me, I never wanted to be a DJ. It just
Yeah.
happened, right?
Yeah.
But shit, my mind went blank now. But
Yeah.
in terms of
And we're talking about people like thinking of
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So in terms of like, I guess I'll use the DJing example. So a big thing with DJing culture here is people not getting paid right.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing with people.
Are we talking about money now?
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand that there is an aspect to it because of where we live. But then there's also an aspect to, and it's like that in other industries. It's just not like people don't take each other as seriously as they probably should.
Yeah.
You know, so even like for me, like unless like I do it full time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I live off these things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you're buying into me researching on different type of sounds.
Yeah.
You know, you're buying into me DJing at all these festivals,
Yeah.
these places. You know, it's not just me just coming there just to do an hour set and that's that. And that's something that, you know, a lot of people have to like, goes back to even like art. When someone's buying a print from you, you know, they're paying for the thousands
of hours
of
and thought and everything.
that you put into it up until now.
Yeah.
So no, I just wanted to back that idea that you just stated
no, I
there.
just want to say thank you guys so much for coming on as well. And I was, because for me I was like, because you guys didn't know each other, so I was like, I hope it goes well. But I'm like, this was perfect. No, like this conversation was so important, and I really hope that like more can come from this, and I hope that people can see that it's really important to like show up and also like reach out to guys like you. Do you know what I mean? And like with money. Okay, reach out with money. Okay, like when you're coming, come with money, because like the experience that you're going to have, even brands, like I need brands to be more intentional about also building relationship with you guys. It's not a matter of like, oh, we'll give you drinks and No, it's like be part of the story. Like if you care enough about your brand to want it to be in this space, believe in that story and continuously like go back. Don't just do this once off thing because it makes you look good. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody is growing, and it's also like you're gonna grow with an audience that's also going to love. Let's say if it's a drink company, but you're gonna grow with an audience that's gonna be like, oh, every time I go to this Tonal, I'm always having this whiskey, and it's like they start linking an emotion to something. It's like. And then like they go shopping and they want to take that, or it's like they not tell their children when I It's like brands. You can't do this once off thing. You have to be continuous. Like
the longevity
please,
of it all,
and
like,
bring the money.
Truly.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, just in like even ending off, just on my side, it's just the element of like, you know, like I do believe it's an artist, whatever medium you use, it's duty to reflect the times, right? I know Nina Simone says this, but like,
come on, Nina.
So true. It's like the art that you produce, you're reflecting the time and the scene of like where you're at, right? And as a society, like the aspect of like love and nurturing community is really like dwindling, and it's led to so much, you know, all of this geopolitics and like hate and stuff. So as a brand, even coming in and you see a good thing and you're like, you know what, the ethics and the core of what this community stands for and what this group is showcasing, because Ireland and Dublin, I mean, from how when you started to like even me coming in post-COVID with like my community of people, it's just like we are a community here and we want to integrate. We want to like experience more pub crawls, more Irish culture and the different facets of it. There's a huge community of Indians, Brazilians.
Literally.
Like Ireland has become so multicultural, multifaceted, and we're not reflecting that anyway.
Like guys, it's
Brands are not
happened.
reflecting.
Do you know what I
It's
mean? Because
happened.
everybody who's kind of like, oh no, I'm like, no, it's not happening. It's happened.
It's happened.
Like it's happened.
And you know what? You should bring your people on par with that, because like for the love of, okay, sorry. sorry. I don't want like Irish people to feel that they've been pushed to the side and like isolated.
It's not
get
that.
to know the fact that like Dublin is so multicultural and diverse, and like move away from the biases and the stereotypes of what mainstream media puts out there, because we have our narratives, we have our stories, and our stories is about love and nurture and just putting out good things and be part of it. You know what I mean?
Be part, not from a distance, because again, as I say, you be ordering that chicken tikka masala, but come into the restaurant, say hi. Do you know what I mean? Like get integrated with people outside of just the things that are like you can order that are so distant from you. Like integrate. Like it's fun. Like not only is the food great, the dance is great, the community is great, the laughter is great. Do you know what I mean? There's so many elements to us. So like come in, enjoy it.
Be curious.
Yeah, guys, we ate with this podcast, didn't we? Yeah, we did good.
Honestly, I'm so honored that you invited us here. Honestly, like,
no, thank you for coming. Yeah, I had to see this guy. I had to chase this man down.
No, you see, this
why are you hiding away?
This is
Why are you hiding?
And I feel like with a lot of creatives, there's like a lot like we thank God I'm busy.
Yeah,
we thank God.
exactly. Yeah,
but like there's a lot to be said for the mentality of a lot of creatives.
Yeah.
Everything is so last minute.
Yeah.
And it's honestly not. It's like,
it's
really
always
don't
the best
mean
as
it.
well. It always be the best sometimes.
Yeah.
Very last minute, very just
And like for me, even myself, like people will tell you I'm like the worst person on my phone. Because firstly, like the phone just phones give me anxiety.
Yeah.
Fair.
I hate social media.
Yeah.
I hate
People having all that access to
I hate what I have to do to become successful. I hate
Oh
I
my
hate
God.
I hate it. I get on the app and I'm like, ugh.
No, same for me. At least you post on TikTok and I walk away. I'm just like, I'm so tired of this.
That's why I try my best to give people my numbers, because like it's interesting, like even when you are, I guess, maybe let's say even dating someone or getting to know people, like Instagram for me is like, it's like my work laptop.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like once I'm like trying to zone out, I'm not on
it's
Instagram.
work. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
You know, like for me, it's like, that's why I'm like heavy on the Facebook now. If you want to catch up with me properly on like my own social media, it's like Facebook now.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah,
going back to Facebook?
Because like I don't know, I just or I'm probably
No.
I mean, like I want to have a place where a medium where I can like share memories with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
to Instagram and all those social media have changed.
I just want it to completely be.
It literally is a work profile.
It's literally a work profile for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But yeah, no, just adding to your fact.
Yeah.
I'm really bad, but it is something that I have noticed with a lot of other creatives as well,
No,
whereby
where it's I think it's the instant and getting to hear someone's voice and getting to like it's
yeah,
way better than emailing and bits
yeah,
and bobs like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But we
yeah.
made it and
We
we're
made it.
We
here.
I'm here.
did.
And it was good.
Thank you
So
so much for
no,
having
thank
us.
you so much. I really, really appreciate this conversation and
Yeah.
I hope more can come from it as well. But yeah,
100%.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Dee.
you.